All right.
Welcome back, guys, to Between Two Pastries. This is Nicole.
We didn't go anywhere.
We did not go anywhere. We are continuing this conversation, and we want to, we want to get this out there and get this completed. So we're doing a follow-up on the previous one that we just did on BMI, body shaming, client story around that.
Yeah.
And I kind of shared a little bit of a personal story within that too, but the point of doing so was to show the two extremes of, someone who might be at a larger weight and someone who might be at a smaller weight, and how we perceive those as good or bad. Something that was brought up also with this client and the letter that he posted, but also just his numbers in general. His other numbers are absolutely outstanding. Yeah. And so that's kind of the other thing about this whole health thing of, if you're a particular weight, that means you're not healthy. Mm-hmm. That means, sure, can it put you at risk for maybe some things? Sure, it can put you at risk.
But so can standing in the sun.
Standing in the sun.
We have to put this into perspective.
That's right.
You can literally you can live to 100 years old and be overweight or even obese, and your blood pressure's great, your cholesterol's great,
right?
Your stress level's great, you're physically fit, or at least you're active, you're moving, you're doing something.
That's right.
And you can be okay. Mm-hmm. But yet, on both of those extremes, we take someone for where they're at, let's just, for sake of numbers, 100 pounds and 200 pounds.
Right.
And they receive shame. They lose or gain weight, they receive shame.
Sure.
They lose or gain weight again, and they're shamed. They're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. Mm-hmm. But what I notice, obviously, is people really like it when people lose weight. But they still also get shamed for that, because people are jealous, they're envious, and they don't like that. All of that. It's like, what the hell is going on?
I know.
It's unreal. Mm-hmm. Instead of saying, wow, you're a human being.
Right.
You have brown hair and blue eyes.
Yeah.
And you do this for a living.
You look different than I am, and that's pretty cool.
And you have a lisp, so I like talking to you. Or things we notice about people because we're engaging with them.
Correct.
Oh, you're this size.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you wear those clothes. Mm-hmm. We have to stop with those judgments. We have to stop shaming other people.
Yeah.
But the only way we can do that is if we stop shaming ourselves.
Right.
Because that's ultimately what's happening.
Right. Because
at least this is my theory.
There's a lot of reasons for all of this. But self-acceptance is definitely
people are so mean
to themselves. When we can start accepting ourselves, then the impact of others is way less. But not only that, we can reflect back to them that, hey, I'm sorry you actually don't accept yourself in the same way that I accept myself.
Right. Which is what his letter.
Correct.
Ultimately, he empowered himself.
Absolutely.
He stood up for himself, saying, honey, just because you don't like yourself doesn't mean you need to put that on me.
That's right.
And that is not okay.
That's right.
And he did that. And that's what I love. And it is okay to stand up for yourself and say, it doesn't matter what I look like. So let's, we talk about, this particular person standing up for himself. How do you feel about the body image movement, or, what is that other move? There's a whole nother movement. Is it the body image movement? That's a coined term.
There's also health at every size.
Yeah, health at every size.
Because that was the point I wanted to make with his numbers. He's actually a really healthy guy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And health at every size is huge.
Right.
There's coined terms, and there's, you've got a lot of media right now on how women who are at every size are okay and can and feel proud in their bodies. Mm-hmm. But then you look at, you go on social media and you look at those posts, and you've got people being so mean about how they look, and it's really upsetting. The body image movement was actually started by a lady in Australia. Her name escapes me, and she was a bodybuilder. Mm-hmm. And she was that, not bodybuilder, the show
physique,
whatever that is.
Yeah.
So she's beautiful then, she's beautiful now, And she stopped that. She was like, I'm having kids. I just want to be. I just want to be.
Right.
I don't want to have to do that.
Exactly.
So she has her body of what her body really is at this point. And she posted a picture of like, here's what I was and here's where my, mental state was, my physical state, my stress level. Here's my body now. And just, I'm enjoying life. She's much mentally in a better place and all of these different things. And she did a side by side of, not large to small, but of small to large. And I cannot tell you the bashing she received.
Unbelievable.
The amount of shame that people dish out is unreal, and it has to be an indicator of how much shame people feel towards themselves.
I know.
And I don't get it. I don't get why we're wasting our lives hating ourselves.
Oh, I know.
For our body.
Right. Or trying to make us be something that we don't actually have to be.
Right.
And also, we're trying to push to make our bodies do things that they may not naturally want to do, but simply because of media, because of
pressure,
these mixed messaging, because, I had another conversation with a client this morning, actually, who had come in, and again, he's done a lot of really great work, and he was doing this whole fad thing, but also trying to finally got him out of that, which was great. He's eating normally. In fact, he has to eat way more than he ever has before. He is in his 60s, and he is one of the fittest men at this particular gym he goes to, that everybody asks him, like, how do you do it? Like, what are you doing? And the guy's just like, I just eat right,
Right.
But we were talking about sort of physique, and as he has continued to kind of make changes, he's just like, wow, he's like, I can see certain things. And we were sort of talking about that. But he also kind of still has this little idea in his head that about looking, when people say like ripped. And I was trying to explain to him, like, with like even a whole bodybuilder type of a thing, like, there's a process in that where they actually literally have to dehydrate themselves before a show or before a photo shoot. And that is my point about this. You are seeing people who have done certain things to themselves to make them look a particular way for a moment.
Correct.
And then it's unfortunate that those same people then are binge eating afterwards.
100% they are.
It's this is not the lifestyle we want.
You don't see those pictures, though.
But you don't see those pictures.
See it.
And these unrealistic ways in which they feel that they're only worthy if they uphold themselves in a particular way.
Right. There's a runner who she did some runway modeling for sports, like athletic clothing, athletic wear or whatever, and she did a whole entire blog on, and I used to share this in my eating disorder groups. She did a whole blog on how fake it is, and it's the lighting, it's makeup, it's oils and lotions that they're putting on. It's things that, and in part of the blog, she's like, this is what I actually look like. I have a stomach.
Right.
I have, when she squeezes her thighs, it's, cottage cheese, quote unquote, as we call it. I'm a normal human being. I'm not, that runway picture is to show an image of like, this is manipulated 100%.
Correct. Manipulated and a false. Everything
it's false. It's not real life. And unfortunately, we see that though, and we feel shame about, man, I'm doing all this work, all this running, all this whatever, lifting. How come I'm not toned yet? How come I'm not this yet, or whatever? And I mean, we talk about personal stories. I mean, Nicole knows my personal story with that. Like, I've constantly gotten why don't you you don't look like a runner? Yeah. And I had to come to terms with that.
We worked on that.
Yeah. And it's hard because it's like, well, how come I can't be a runner if I don't look this way?
Yeah.
And so you have to start like being like, okay, I look at my stomach in the mirror. My stomach helps with digestion. That's it. That's what I'm going to tell myself. That's its role. I'm not going to look at my stomach and say, well, it's really big today. Or I'm not going to look at my thighs and think, oh, why are they touching? No, my thighs are touching because my hips are close together. Or because
structure.
It's my structure.
A lot of muscle.
Right. And the only way I can power through my workouts is by keeping my muscle.
That's right.
So by lowering the number on the scale and shaming myself through this whole process is not going to mean I'm going to have the power then to run or do whatever it is that maybe I want to do. So
Right.
and I have, you know, the wobbly part under my arms and in my shoulder blades because that's how women,
Because you're normal.
because I'm not like that's so we can have babies, and
Right.
that's like,
I mean, we can't also defy gravity.
we can't.
I mean, we can't, you know.
So how do but then I'm learning the new body pump routine, and the girl on there is like, she doesn't have any of that. You know, like, how do some people manipulate that? And it goes back to Nicole's point before. It is 100% a show.
Mm-hmm.
They do it for that. You cannot hold that body type for long periods of time.
That's correct. And that's essentially,
especially as a female.
But that's essentially what I work with personally to get people to understand. Where can we get you where your body is going to say, "Hey, I can rest here. This feels good to me.
This feels good."
Like I can
right.
function completely. I can have a kind of a relaxed, nice, flexible diet. I can exercise not 1,000 times a week, or
I still get my rest day or two, whatever.
Like,
I eat donuts.
It feels good. I'm not stressed. I can actually sleep well. You know, where is that sweet spot for you?
But how do we? Okay, so let's say I'm a client, and you know, physiologically and physically, based on numbers, maybe, you know, I'm at that sweet spot. But how do you mentally get someone to accept that sweet spot when they really are dead set on being X weight, X BMI, X percent body fat? What do you got to do?
It's also helping them see that they're not an object to be controlled.
Oh, wow.
They're a living organism that you work with. So working with your body to understand that.
Would you say that you hit a sweet spot when you're thinking about food and body image and shaming yourself goes down like 100%?
Literally.
Seriously, people, I'm not even kidding. Like, it's amazing how your body, when you starve it, you're constantly thinking about food. You're shaming yourself so much more. You're dieting all the time, all those types of things. When you stop that and your body actually, you allow it to get to a place where it wants to be, those thoughts go away. And you can find time to think about, God, everything.
Well, and that's
cool.
that's also part of the process of working with someone like that who has the mentality is, you know, what are other things in your life that you love? Right. Or what aren't you including in your life that you'd like to love? You know, that you love, that you want to do.
That you want to do.
You're not allowing yourself. Where are you not allowing yourself to experience joy? And I think that's, you know, I'm just saying that's a big part of it. That people are not bringing enough happiness into their life because of some of these other things.
I mean, you know this. I cut my hours at work so I go volunteer at the zoo.
Yeah.
I mean, that was bringing, that I knew would bring joy to my life.
Right.
And that was a huge piece. And so bringing joy to your life doesn't have to be physical fitness.
No.
That is, or a food or something.
That's just part of self-care.
This is, I enjoy puzzles or maybe you enjoy reading, writing, whatever.
Yes.
Those are huge components that help you combat the shame that you're feeling about your body. You know, it's a very, very interesting psychologically.
So it's like allowing yourself to feel the joy. People have difficulties feeling that too.
And they build confidence that way.
Sure.
The shame will start to go away. But it's when you work with people or online programs or whatever it is, however you're working. You know, we've seen a lot of coaching different people or whatever. When you do those types of things though, and they're, you know, you're like, oh, but it's motivating. Oh, but they push me to do these things. Ask yourself this. Have you ever not felt shame before going into that or after going into that?
Sure.
And I'm going to guess you've constantly felt shame. And that's why you feel like you have to keep changing or trying to change your body.
Which becomes the motivation.
Yes.
Which is, but it just is a terrible cycle that people just keep
awful cycle.
Spinning and cycling into. So I know we just wanted to try to wrap this one up.
Did we wrap it up?
I think we kind of
wrapped it up. If you have questions though, please ask us, because this is a topic that's huge.
It's so big.
Yeah.
All
right.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks,
y'all.